Oh my gosh, guys, I am a few hours from becoming a homeschool mama. And I just have to say, I never, ever, ever thought that Mark and I would make this decision. We love our time, we love our freedom. But when we quit our jobs 6 years ago, we were 33 and 34 years old. Our daughters were 1, 2, and 4 years old. And we consciously made a decision to leave six-figure careers to become a full-time family. And here we are 6 years later, and we are being told by the public school system when to take fall break, when to be with our kids. And, when we quit our careers, it was because we didn't like someone else telling us how we should live our life or how we should use our time. And we're there again, and we refuse to accept it as the only possibility. Now, when I started researching this, I didn't even know where to start, and I found a group in Indiana that really helped me to figure out what the heck I needed to do to get started on this journey. And so the first step was to just know the state law. So our family is in Indiana, and there are a few things that you need to know about homeschool laws in Indiana, or what I needed to know, right? So the first is that Indiana code classifies a homeschool as a non-credited, non-public school with less than one employee. It is a compulsory school. Age is 7 to 18 years of age, or when the student graduates. Children must attend school for the number of days that the local school corporation is in session, which is generally 180 days a year. You have to keep attendance records. You have to provide an equivalent education, and your instruction must be done in English. So let's talk about what equivalent education stands for, right? Like, what the heck is an equivalent education? I recently reread a book called Brave Learner, and in it, the author starts the book by saying, "There's no place like home," from The Wizard of Oz. And oh my gosh, you guys, I just love that so much. It's so true. One of the benefits of home education is the ability to tailor your children's education to their specific needs. And I just know that Mark and I can do this on our terms. We're so excited to dive into this and to try this new life. Okay, so Indiana law doesn't actually explain what equivalent education means, and actually the Indiana Department of Education doesn't have the authority to determine what that even is. So it's something that is determined on a case-by-case basis. And so in that situation, like the courts would typically use like a common meaning of the word. So like the dictionary states that equivalent is equal in force, amount, or value. So a parent teaching their child at home could demonstrate that they were providing an equivalent education or instruction by demonstrating that they had provided instruction to their child for the same amount of time as the public school. Or another option would be for them to demonstrate that the type of education or instruction materials that they were using were just as comprehensive as those being used in public school. And then they could also show that the actual instruction was producing results, that their child is or above grade level for their age or abilities. One of the main questions we get is, what curriculum are you using? And the answer is life. I want to teach my kids how to do life, and that really freaks people out, right? So I am not knocking the public school system. I totally see the need for it. Some of my favorite humans were produced out of the public school system, including yours truly. So I am so thankful for the educators, the teachers, the leaders who have gotten my children to where they are today. They're thriving. And also, I believe that life could be more beautiful than it already is. I don't like people telling me when to take fall break. When we went to Tokyo a couple months ago for fall break. It was for a week. You guys, do you think I only wanted to be in Tokyo for a week? Come on. While we were there, we did homeschool things. We went to museums and to temples and to aquariums, and we met up with some of our Japanese friends and we played with their kiddos, and we spoke Japanese and we ate Japanese food, and we learned about cultures and kindness and empathy, and just got outside of our comfort zone. And Mark and I provided an education that is beyond what my children could learn sitting at a desk reading about Japan, reading about other cultures. When we were in Japan, every time we travel to a new place, even if it's a different state, I come up with these. I've done this for years, these little packets, like coloring pages with different facts about the place we're going, things we should know. If it's a different language they speak, like some, general phrases, ways to say hello, thank you, goodbye, you're welcome, please. And so I've done that for years. And so I did that for when we went to Japan. And there was this moment we were on the train. It was a 3-hour train ride back to one of the airports in Tokyo. We were getting ready to leave, and the girls were coloring in their packets, and it had pictures of Mount Fuji and the different foods that they would eat in Japan. There were like mazes and crossword puzzles, and there was several places where they could like journal about their trip. And Mark and I will never forget this moment. There was an older guy sitting next to Penelope, our middle child, and she was just sitting there coloring Mount Fuji, and he did not speak English, and he was just smiling, just grinning so big, watching her, this very clearly American little girl in Japan on the train, being so sweet, so quiet, and just learning about the culture she was surrounded by. And he never said anything to us. He just smiled, and like I said, it was a long train ride. He wasn't on it for the whole time, but for that 10 minutes, it just created this very core memory for Mark and I. It was like, this is it. This is the impact we can have on our kids, on other people. And this is my equivalent education. Indiana homeschool families are not required to register with the state. They don't have to do any testing or reporting. And so, there's just this like true freedom for us to travel on our terms, be back in Indiana, be surrounded by friends and grandparents and great grandparents, and, educate our children on our terms. The more I learned about it, the more excited I became, the more empowered I became. And we're just ready just to dive in and just see how it goes, you guys. When Mark and I were getting out of debt several years ago after we graduated college, we got married, and we were paying off our debt. And at that time, our friends and family said we were all weirdos for focusing so hard on that goal and making weird choices at the time. And then we moved to Italy, and that was a weird choice for a lot of people in our life. And then we moved to Denver thinking we were going to be real estate investors there. It just was too expensive. So we started buying real estate in Indianapolis. And so that just really catapulted this whole dream life for us, made us dream bigger. When we moved from Denver to Tokyo, we were starting to get into the FIRE movement, financial independence, retire early. And we were really on this trajectory where our goal was to be in Tokyo for 7 years, and we were ready. We were going to live there. We loved it there. It was so amazing. And life just happened to us, and we ended up being there for 2 years. But during that 2 years, we just consumed so much online content because we needed to find our people. And in our inner circles and our families and our friends, to that point, we needed to find some other people who were like us, And we sought that online, and we were so thankful for all of the knowledge that was shared with us for free through those people, through blogs and podcasts and YouTube videos. And so this is really a full circle moment for us. We were so inspired by those people, and they really did become our homies, even though they didn't know it. And so here we are. We're giving back in the way that we know how. We listened to people like us 6 years ago, and so we are just here to encourage other people to take the chance, try homeschooling, to travel the world internationally with your family. We're going to share all of that stuff here, and we're just so excited about it. All right, so here we go, guys. I have 2 hours, and then Mark and I are picking up our daughters from school for what we think is the last time. And so we are ready. We are ready to share it all, and we're so thankful that you're here. Please follow along. We're going to be sharing everything here on YouTube. Until next time, happy travels and happy learning.